Right, can I throw it open? Oh, sir.
Where is the training available for retrofit to produce the skilled workers and designers?
Well, as far as our executives, we're responsible for training our surveyors. We do provide training for our surveyors in respect to retrofit. We have a series of what's called boot camps where we bring entrance into building control. VRE help us with that training. We have secured CRTB funding for improvements to our registered construction details, and we will be having retrofit examples of our registered construction details onto our website that will include more innovation in things like timber frame retrofit and sort of different things like that. But we're doing what we can to train our workforce. But by the nature of your question, I tend to agree with you. I don't think the training is necessarily out there for the industry as a whole.
I'd say that as far as project coordination goes, the Retrofit Academy has an excellent course, the Retrofit Coordinating course. And I'd say if you're going to be involved in commissioning and delivering retrofit projects, it's well worth looking into. I'd say actually, if you're going to be doing a lot of it, it's maybe essential. It's a really, really good course. It provides a really excellent understanding of a lot of the technical issues around retrofit, as well as retrofit more widely. And then Russell can tell you probably quite a lot more about it.
Yeah. If you remember Core, based up in Stoke, it went under last year, and basically the content of that course still exists because all the trainers own it, and they've got together and we resurrected that. So it's still an accredited qualification, and it's all about doing those things that George has mentioned. Actually, it's cross-cutting design. There's a day on business case, how you can pitch to councillors and other people that make decisions on what the right thing is to do, how to get some money, but also then the technical stuff on how to make a retrofit work and how to make sure that you're checking the right thing to go into contract, to a contractor, all that kind of stuff. But you know, really it ought to be embedded in every course that a college has. Where do you go and get trained to be a plumber? Well, you go and get trained to be a plumber like everybody else, but actually the colleges ought to be within the background standards that underpin all of our training. There ought to be elements of sustainability, and there are bits. I'm involved in national occupational standards for the insulation industry, and we're constantly challenging those things. But it's still, again, it's not enough pull. There's not enough work going on. There's not enough demand. People clamouring for training in this, no, they're not, because there's not enough work in it. So colleges tend to focus on things that they get funding for, like everybody else. So they're training people on tourism and hairdressing and electrical work and plumbing, and not necessarily on the bits that we've been talking about today, which falls in between all of the trades. So we've got a challenge there. Our education structure doesn't fit where we want to head at the moment.
I'd agree with Russell on that. I've been to colleges where they're training plumbers, they're training electricians, they're training bricklayers, but there's no added value with regard to, we're told that any works above 50% on that wall have to be meet modern building regulations. But what I see is people will render a wall, they'll pebble dash a wall, they'll do the whole lot, but they're not necessarily paying attention. So I think there's a big step to go through there, just to get that embedded into the college's understanding. So.
I think it's probably the architects not having the training that.
So we're going back to the design. That's been mentioned a lot throughout the talks today, that it starts with good design, and if you don't design it in, it's very difficult to retrofit late into the project. I think that's definitely been highlighted.
There's certainly a challenge. I wouldn't point the finger at architects particularly, but the design industry generally is quite. Everyone's under pressure to get things done quickly, and it's very easy to put on a drawing, make the builder to make sure that this part of building complies with part L of building regulations, and that is default for most designers. And it's not good enough, because part L is jigsaw. It tells us how individual components of a building shall be built. It doesn't tell you how those buildings shall fit together. So anybody writing that on a design is being substandard, frankly.
And there is no requirement to follow what it says it like. The way building regulations are worded, they're there, look, a approved document, so the approved document L is there as guidance. As long as you satisfy the actual functional requirements of the regulations, which you can do in areas such as this by all sorts of different methods, you don't have to follow what's described in the approved document. But again, I totally agree, there is a lack of knowledge by people potentially specifying burdens.
I think particularly for larger projects, most important thing we can do is to encourage people to specify that the designers have those skills. And I think that's the only way we can start to get around those sorts of things.
We're getting a lot of work at the moment, working for architects actually, which is one of the reasons I'm not don't want to piss them off. But if they've got a drawing and they don't really quite know what should go on that drawing, the standard approach is it will be fine. But actually, most of their clients don't know we're involved. We're actually doing what we call a building performance specification. Everything that influences energy and air quality and water consumption and nest boxes, and it goes into this and it gets embedded into the architect's drawing and nobody knows we're involved. And I quite like that. Because then the architects are building up their business.
Do you think the removal of some of the environmental aspects in building, like code for sustainable homes, actually there's an opportunity, and that's supposed to be rolled into the building regs, but actually there's an opportunity there for that to be pushed. The whole consequential improvements part of building regs is a main driver for a lot of builders to say, I'm sorry, I can't do that work unless you allow me to do the rest of the work. And if you've then got building regulation, I mean, from installing works, one of the easiest ways to make sure a client actually does the work is to say, you won't get it signed off by the inspector unless this work's done.
Yeah.
You know, so
that does incentivise people,
yeah,
by all means. But I mean, listening to you two today is so refreshing. Because I mean, the amount of platforms that I've sat on talking about green deals, people just looked at different bits in isolation and thought that'll be okay. We're now in the marketplace where a lot of retrofit work is going nowhere near building control. And so it isn't having that sort of sign-up. It needs to have that sign-up so we can actually deliver proper performance improvements to buildings. And there's got to be a way. Consequential improvements could be brilliant, but you try and force those in a marketplace of where you've got private sector competition in building control. Very difficult.
Or try and get a politician to approve it in the period and squaring at the moment. You've got absolutely no chance.
Yeah. It's all about cutting red tape, reducing regulation, and quite rightly incentivising house building.
I'd quite like to get rid of part L altogether and just have a passive house style set of terms that say your building shall perform like this, and you prove that performance, and that's good enough. Yeah, it doesn't have to be about bits and pieces of the house and what they ought to be. And you kind of alluded to that, Mike, didn't you, anyway? The way building control could work.
It could work like that now, but unfortunately everyone defaults to the guidance that's described in the approved document. You can actually take a completely different approach, and as long as you achieve the requirements of the regulations, you don't have to observe the guidance on how to achieve it.
Any other questions? I'll make a comment about performance gap. I think, from a personal perspective, I think until we go to performance, actually you've got to demonstrate your materials perform, and then you're paid on that respect. I think unless we get to that area, self-certification and other areas like that, I don't think we'll ever achieve that. And I think if we go right back to the first comment of the day is about getting trust back, trying to get people to actually restore that trust, because as we've seen today, there's no guarantee. I come in, I wreck your house, and then walk away, and there's no guarantee of the performance of the materials at the end. So I think it's a big job, but the things that keep coming back for me today: quality, trust, communications, deliver, expertise. And there is a lot of experts. Sorry? Price. Well, we know that people will spend a lot of money on things. They'll spend £18,000 on a kitchen. And they don't say, well, what's the payback of that kitchen? I know what it is. It's about 8 years, because that's when they rip it out and put the next one in. And there's no payback there. So
we just find from a contractor point of view, it's still about price. You can do all this quality, you can get all these consultants involved, and some really good detail in the works. But it still comes down to price.
Well, I can get my roof refurbished, because I saw a firm the other day doing it without scaffold. Essentially, they were climbing off ladders and I thought that could be really cheap, but I don't think I could sleep with that. So ultimately, sometimes we're willing to pay a little bit more.
I think we've got to change the game a bit. You're quite right. In a current contracting environment, I mean, I see tenders come through and it's 100% price, 0% quality. They actually, the client writes it on the document. I mean, I don't know how the hell they do it, but if we start doing things like we're going to hear from Arno later on about Energy Strong, and I know I pronounce it wrong every time, but the deal is there, it's turning the whole market on its head completely. You're putting the finance and the guaranteeing performance at the centre of the offer, and everyone's got to work to that, and you've got to prove how you get there. It's going to completely different. It's the way it's got to be.
Right, Russell, you've perfectly. I'm going to hold back because we've got to go and get a cup of tea and refresh, because you've primed us for the next two speakers. And let's get out there, have a quick refreshment, and then we'll come back in. And again, jump on these people to more inquisition, please.